Hello and welcome to Pod and Long. I am your host, Ryan, and I'm here with two of my co-hosts, one of them being the Word of Drew.
The Mets hired a manager who's like under 75. It's a great week. And it's not me, I'm being facetious. But yeah, sure, I'll be the Mets manager. What the hell?
Can't do any worse.
What's Terry Collins doing these days?
Bobby Valentine and a mustache. It's all going to be great.
Yeah, right. We're also here with our other co-host, Mr. Megastar Mark. Welcome.
That's right. That's right. We're here. I am not a manager of any baseball team that I know. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Oh, the Rays. Okay, cool. All right. It looks like I'm on board.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I got a
really
pretty good team to
pitching
work
staff.
with.
Yeah, that's not a bad spot. You landed in a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
We are here to talk about the NFL in Week 9, not Major League Baseball. We were talking about Week 9 of the NFL, and a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
A lot of things happened between
before
shows.
the season even started. Or before the week even started, excuse me.
Right, before the week even started, because after the show was recorded, literally,
Right.
I think 1 hour after the show dropped online, Josh McDaniels was fired.
That's if you work in the television business a little bit, that's one of those situations where you record the show and then someone from programming calls master control and says the show can't re-air because it's out of date now.
When like at 1 a.m, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
well, 1 a.m. Eastern time,
Yeah,
but
Eastern
yes,
time.
even
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
like
right.
when Mark asked me last week, does McDaniels get another shot? And I said it depends on how they finish. That was I thought true.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that within the next 12 hours he would be fired.
Yep. Good riddance. Like, honestly.
I can't say I'm disappointed. This is oh, well, sorry, keep going, Ryan, and then I'll get into my long rambling tirade.
I just want to talk about the players only meeting. That's my favorite thing. Have you heard that story?
Yeah, sure.
The players only meeting, they call it players only meeting, but they bring in McDaniels so they can roast him. Apparently. They roasted him. And then Antonio Pierce, who's now the interim coach, gets up and says basically like, I was on the 07 Giants and we believed and we went into every game believing we could win, not worrying about all this other bullshit. Like, and we beat the undefeated Patriots. And everyone kind of was like, all right, we can get behind that, Pierce. We like that, Antonio. And then the meeting ended, and apparently McDaniels went over to Antonio Pierce and said, please don't talk about the Patriots like that.
What a twat.
Why do you even care? McDaniels was on the staff, I believe, of the.
Yeah, he was.
He
Oh,
was.
yeah.
Um,
I'm going to thoroughly enjoy when the Patriots fire Belichick and hire this schlub for the next 5 years. It's going to be wonderful as a Bills fan.
God.
I'm going to say McDaniels lands at.
He's going to go back to the Patriots, right?
No, I was going to say Southern Miss. Like, it just feels like a school who will have a job open.
Yeah, right.
going to
right.
college.
The Lane Kiffin route. He's going right to the college ranks.
Texas A&M.
A step down.
Texas A&M might be
No.
available.
We know who's going to that one. That's football FUBAR inductee is going to take that one.
Oh, Bobby Petrino is going to move up one spot to
absolutely.
take the head coach? Sure,
Absolutely.
I'm on board.
He will 100% weasel his way into that spot.
Oh,
and we know Maryland's taken, so he can't go there. So.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, can you imagine him recruiting? I don't know, like Josh McDaniels, like your kid? He has to convince you to send your kid to the college?
Dude is so toxic at this point. No other team other than the Patriots will hire this idiot.
Certainly not in a head coaching capacity.
Yeah, 100%. I don't even think an offensive coordinator is on the horizon, unless maybe you have is there any Belichick disciples left as head coachings? I think they're pretty much all flamed out now.
Vrabel is the only one.
Vrabel, there you go. I could see that.
Eric Mangini. Oh.
Nope.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if Josh McDaniels goes to the Titans? Killer Greg's response to that.
Oh God. He just ruins Will Levis.
Yeah.
He just starts putting milk everywhere and telling him to chug the milk. Throw it a 6-yard out route and chug the milk already.
Eat the pennies,
Billy.
Coach, I want to go deep.
Yeah. Shut up.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Raiders hated Josh McDaniels. Because in the first category, the Raiders hated Josh McDaniels. They come out and put a whooping on the Giants and they're flying around doing all kinds of stuff. Aiden O'Connell.
before Drew goes and talks about this game, I just want to point this out. I think I
It'll
said
be
this
a
in a
minute.
group chat. The minute they fired him, I put so much money down on the Raiders. And I'm like, there is zero chance the Raiders lose this game with everything they had. And now the cathartic release of not having to worry about McDaniels anymore. Antonio Pierce is not losing against the Giants in his first game. This was like the surest bet I ever had. And they fucking trounced them.
Yep. They crushed the Giants.
Mark was
Let me
happy.
let me actually address the Giants for a second.
Oh, yes.
Someone explained to me, and I didn't realize this. Someone explained to me that the way the practice squad rules work, there's no way in which DeVito could have started that game. Like if Daniel Jones couldn't
Really?
go, Matt Barkley would have had to start. Which
Really?
makes me wonder if that's why Jones started to avoid Matt Barkley starting, and then DeVito came in anyway. And pride of Don Bosco Prep, at one point in the box score, he was 1 of 3 for 11 yards, and the 2 incompletions were both picks by the Raiders.
Yes.
On the plus side, those 11 yards were more than he had in the first game. So
Totally.
you know,
He
He's nearly doubled it.
that's right. That's
He
right.
finished
More than
with
doubled it.
positive yardage on the day.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Before you talk about the Raiders, we really got to focus some time here on the mess that is the Giants. This team,
I mean, they made the Raiders look good.
I would be amazed still if Dayball gets fired. I still think he has another year in him.
Yeah, he
But
should.
this team is like a real strong contender for Caleb Williams at this point. Like it is 3 weeks ago, I never would have thought the Giants, even though they were bad, I was like, well, they're not going to maintain this level of shitty play. Yeah, they are. Like this
Yeah.
is
This is
potential
who they
to be
are.
a top 3 pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, he probably liked New York. Actually, that's got to be on his list, right? New York City.
It's
Gotta
It's
be
a
on
great
on
spot. It's a
Oh,
great
they're
spot.
on it.
Not his list. I'm sorry, his dad's list.
his dad's list.
It's a great
And-
spot
and-
for him.
His dad's, Ejon Leon memorial list.
He's dead?
Who would know? Actually, believe it or not, I think he has a job in like the Chinese sport ministry or something. I saw his
Okay.
name
Wow.
pop up. Anyway, we're getting way off topic on the current whereabouts of Ejon Leon.
I want to know.
But anyway, are we done with the Giants?
Yes, we're
Okay.
done.
Yeah.
With the corpse
Go
of the
ahead.
Giants.
Give us some more Raiders.
So Wednesday morning, I woke up to the news and I told my wife the Raiders fired their coach. And she asked me the critical question, is this a big deal? And I said, it would be a big deal if I had any confidence that the Raiders would make a correct decision about any of these open positions moving forward. I was not, much like Bane and Batman in the Darkness, I was not born a Raiders fan. I adopted the Raiders. And for the sake of easy math, I'm going to say I adopted the Raiders in 1990 when Bo Jackson was my hero. I'm now briefly going to do my best impression of Chris Jericho as the man of 1,004 holds and read off a series of names. Art Shell, Mike White, Joe Bugle, John Gruden, Bill Callahan, Norv Turner, Art Shell, Lane Kiffin, Tom Cable, Hugh Jackson, Dennis Allen, Tony Sperano, Jack Del Rio, John Gruden, Rich Bisaccia, Josh McDaniels, Antonio Pierce. In 33 years of Raiders fandom, they've had 17 coaches.
I like how they doubled up a couple times.
I'm no math whiz, but
Yeah.
that sounds real shitty. And okay, let's say Antonio Pierce pulls a Rich Bisaccia here, and the team finishes.
There's
they're
no
not as
way
good-
he gets the job, right?
They're not as good as that Rich Bisaccia team was, which is saying something, and it's not going to end. It's not going to culminate in this amazing overtime game against the Chargers like that season
Oh
did.
my God, one of my favorite games of all time.
Of all time. Let's say that Antonio Pierce rallies the Raiders and they finish somewhere between 7-10 and 9-8.
Okay,
You know they're not going to give him the job.
no,
And
He's
you know
not
they're going to
getting
hire
the job.
and you know they're going to hire some hump who's not qualified to coach the job. They're probably going to hire Jimbo Fisher.
oh my God.
And
Sure,
and
you know as
everything
well
is
as I
Charlie
do.
Weiss money?
Like this is the problem is like I would feel good about this if I had any confidence that the next. I remember saying this to you guys like 18 months ago when I was guesting on the podcast. Like, whoever the Raiders coach is just the guy until the next guy. There's no faith in any of these guys. And so
the
here we
specter of
are.
Harbaugh,
Like,
by the way, is looming over this team.
it's so unbelievable. And in the meantime, they're going to spend $85 million in dead money. Which is fine. Like, I'll say this for Mark Davis. He is committed to trying to find the right guy, hell or high water. The problem is I don't know that he has the resources or wherewithal to find the correct guy to pilot what was one of the league's historic franchises.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he's not energy money rich or real estate rich like a lot of these guys. His wealth comes from his team. He's one of, if not the poorest owners in the room.
Right.
And 85 million is probably not a lot versus what the Raiders net is, but it's not zero.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't keep throwing Charlie Weiss money at people.
Yeah. Right. If you, let's say they say, Drew, we're really struggling here.
Well, first,
we really don't know what we're doing here.
Drew's got to resign as manager of the Mets first.
Right.
You can't do
the
that.
conflict of interest.
No, I'm gonna pull a Bo or a Dion. I'm gonna manage them both. What the hell?
Why not?
Raiders only play one day a week. How hard can it be?
Is there a direction you would point them in? Like, this guy should be the team president or whatever. Like, what is there some? If they give you the keys to make the hire, what do you think needs to be done?
I'm not up enough in executives to know who the proper general manager would be, but I would like them, as I look down the list again, I would love to see them hire a coach who hasn't already failed somewhere else, which hasn't been the case since Tom Cable was the coach. And Tom Cable turned out to kind of be a gross human being in a couple of other ways, but like, In 2 years, he turned that team around and got them above 500 with a very under-talented roster, and the players responded to him. But after Tom Cable, like, Hugh Jackson had already been a crappy coach. Dennis Allen had already been a crappy coach. Tony Sperano had already been fired. John Gruden had already been fired from the Raiders or traded by the Raiders to Tampa, and then he had been fired. And then, like, Rich Bisaccia was an interim coach, Josh McDaniels in Denver, and now Antonio Pierce. Like, I would like to see them bring in somebody who either has at least a modest track record of success, or go get somebody who at least we don't already know has failure built into his history.
Okay. All right.
Or you know what? Pull a basketball. Go hire Becky Hammon. Her history. Why not? Open up the field. Somebody is out there who can coach this team, and I don't particularly care who it is.
She's already under the payroll of
Right. She already works for Mark Davis.
She already works for Mark Davis, right? He owns the Aces.
I love the story, by the way, that part of the reason Mark Davis decided to make the move now on McDaniels is apparently allegedly a bunch of Raiders fans accosted him at the Vegas Aces victory parade.
Yes.
That's incredible. That's some stuff that just doesn't happen.
They definitely cannot go with another retread. It has to be take a chance on an offensive coordinator. I'm not a fan of the college coaches making the jump, but there's got to be a talented offensive coordinator who everybody likes, who's organized. And I feel like that's good enough. I feel like there is talent on this team. And you got to be pumped, though. There is an energy about the Raiders now, which has been, very.
There is, but I'm also tempering my expectations because the team that they looked amazing against was the Giants.
Well, the good news is you have the Jets
Tommy
next week.
DeVito.
So,
Jets are better than the Giants, man.
Not by much.
But they are. Aiden O'Connell's never seen a defense like the Jets defense.
Yeah, but that offense, man. Dear God.
I heard 2 stories about the Raiders this past week because I'm consuming I hate Josh McDaniels, so obviously I'm consuming all content anti-McDaniels. I heard 2 stories. One of them was this guy who was doing this stadium tour for cancer for St. Jude. He was raising money. He was going to all the different stadiums, and he went to the Raiders one. And he has all these behind the scenes stories of well, these guys were weird. When he got to the Raiders place, they were super weird about letting him in and letting him tour and stuff. And he said that the staff blamed it on McDaniels.
Yeah, that's some old Patriots bullshit.
He's running a the CIA compound here. And like, even though it's the off season, you can't do certain things because McDaniels doesn't want that, which I thought was interesting, even when no one's in the building.
The only thing that gives me some hope here is that the last two coaches that they've out and out hired, Gruden and McDaniels, were both hired because they had like a personal relationship with Mark Davis. I believe Mark Davis is out of people he has personal relationships with.
Yeah.
So like, hopefully that means he's going to, first hire a GM who's competent. Let that GM conduct a coaching search. You have time now because you fired him mid-season.
Right.
Harbaugh,
and if it turns out to be Antonio Pierce, great, but I know it's not going to be.
Harbaugh's just mailing Christmas letters right now, Christmas cards right
I know he
to
is.
Davis, trying to get that relationship.
I know he is. Christmas cards that the FBI is reading before they hit the mail, but still mailing Christmas cards.
Romeo Crennel's like, how do I get back? How do I get back in the NFL? The other funny story I heard was potentially Brady is out as minority owner.
I heard that too.
Mike Florio said that Brady is potentially done and doesn't want to do it anymore.
Good.
Which
Good.
is funny.
That I won't complain about.
Yeah, right. Just the Raiders are so silly. But maybe on the right track here.
Aidan O'Connell, but at least I can hope.
One of the sources, Jay Glazer said, who didn't like McDaniels, obviously, and gave him information, said he asked, "What's the biggest problem with the organization?" And he said, "We're not playing the best quarterback. Aidan O'Connell is way better than Jimmy Garoppolo."
Yeah,
which is interesting. All right. Well, there's a lot there, and I feel like we're going to talk about them a lot more.
Well, and also, regardless of what happens,
forward.
they have to be a team that's interested in taking a first-round quarterback, right? I mean, like at that point,
you have to.
You have to, right?
Unless it turns out that Aidan O'Connell is Brock Purdy, which I find dubious, but
just seems like that's a slam dunk right there that they're going to go after one. So
have to.
They should. Yeah. Why not? All right, moving on. Next category is what? The Vikings beat this stupid Falcons team, which I loved. I hate this Falcons team.
Yeah, they're annoying as shit.
They're so annoying because they should be good. Mm-hmm. They don't use their good players. They have a decent defense, but they inexplicably, I've been saying it all year, spend all this money on all these defensive players when they're not even good. They benched Ritter for Heineke permanently, I guess.
That's the right move.
Yes, that's the right move.
Right.
And they still lose to the Vikings, who trotted out Josh Dobbs, who had taken 0 practice reps. He had just been traded there. And this guy comes in basically playing sandlot football. I'm going to roll to the right. You go over the middle. And we'll see what happens. He wins. Josh Dobbs comes out and wins this thing.
Really like Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs making himself a lot of money.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
A lot of money.
He will be a guy who goes to a kind of a team that drafts a rookie quarterback and is the veteran on that team who like compete with the rookie. He won't win, but he'll be there next year. I guarantee it.
Unbelievable. How the hell could he have known any of the plays? I mean, we know he's a smart guy.
Right.
But...
And to his credit, though, it's not like he was on the bench for the last 8 weeks. I mean, he was starting.
That's true. He's been playing meaningful football.
But did he know the Vikings like plays and terminology after 3 days of not practicing?
I mean, it's probably like one sheet double-sided. Like,
I was gonna say the assumption you're making here is that the Vikings have complicated terminology or playbook.
With Justin Jefferson not there, it is literally one page. So.
And doesn't Kirk Cousins strike you as the kind of guy who'd be like, whatever, I'll draw it up in the dirt. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, they win. They beat the stupid Falcons.
The Falcons, I will always truly hate for that Super Bowl. I think I've mentioned it a couple times. I cannot shake that. Every time I see that team, I just get angry.
Yes, I agree. I don't know what else there's to say. Josh Dobbs is just one funny moment was, I forget who was calling this game, but the color person was like, he just keeps rolling to the right, looking for a receiver, and if it's not there, he runs. I can see it from up here. Why are they not defending this better?
The Falcons are poorly coached and from top to bottom. There's no leaders on this team. It's just blah.
Well, don't worry. Arthur Smith shaved his mustache. He's getting real serious now.
Good, great.
Bijan Robinson did nothing in this game.
Nope.
Kyle Pitts is still on a milk carton somewhere.
Where the hell is he? Yeah, right.
Uh,
That dude's got to get traded.
wait.
Like it's not working in Atlanta, no matter what's going on here. So
does Arthur Smith do the opposite of no shave November? Does he only shave in November? What are we
Yes.
missing here?
I don't know why. Yeah, what does this mean? He's getting serious. That's what I said.
mm,
That's what I think. He's getting serious now. He's going to
Mark's
give Tyler
non-committal shrug
Algier
down there.
25 carries a game.
Great.
He's going to throw it to the other tight end even more.
I'll show you, Kyle Pitts.
I'll show you. Kyle Pitts is like, what did I even do?
Yeah, right.
All right. That's the Awat. Only one Awat. Big matchups. Eagles outlast the Cowboys.
Good game.
Yeah.
Good. Cowboys did what they always do. You know,
Yeah.
they can't quite get over that hump. They're not good enough. They really only have CD Lamb
Yeah.
on offense. Pollard's a good player, but you can't do it all by himself. Like, they don't have enough running backs, I don't think.
The this is Dak in a nutshell, baby. This is
Yeah.
like massive yards, huge stats, no win.
Yeah.
No win. Although
Yeah.
it's become a very popular take this week, and I see the logic behind it to insinuate that like that's a real red flag for the Cowboys.
Mhm.
Like Dak played a great game and you lost.
Right.
And that could be problematic for them and for him.
Yeah.
The Cowboys will be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone listening to think that's not what I'm thinking. They are 100% going to be there at the end. But this looks a lot like last year's team when they spent the entire
I agree.
offseason saying that things are different. And if you're happy with a playoff game and an exit, it's probably what we're going to see again.
They're not beating the Eagles, I don't think. After
Not
watching
on the
this.
regular.
Yeah, I
It
don't
would
know.
have
Like,
something crazy would have to happen.
and that's the thing. Division games are crazy, so I could see a weird upset, but I don't know. Like talent-wise, they're just not at the Eagles level.
No, you really can see how they really don't have much other than CD Lamb in these kind of games. Like they
Mm-mm.
can't run the ball. Pollard's a good runner, but like they don't have enough weapons. Like
It's
their new tight end's not good enough. Brandon Cooks is cooked.
Yeah, that was a
He-
weird signing.
Brandon
don't
Cooks has
understand.
been the same guy on 6 different
Yeah,
teams.
Cooks for
There's a
years.
reason he's banged around the league so
Right.
much. He's
Right.
not that guy.
Yeah.
I give that man credit. He has collected bank for being very above average.
Yeah,
And
meanwhile-
everybody, I've made the comparison with him before. He's Keith Van Horn. Everybody wants
Yeah.
him to be their number 2 option, and he's not.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
right.
Meanwhile, across the state, Noah Brown's out there. They could have used him.
Right. And
He's
Tank
doing
Dell,
stuff.
Yeah,
who they
right.
mined at the bottom of the draft.
Right. The Texans. But okay. The other big matchup was the Bengals and Bills.
Fuck you. Sorry.
Who are you
I'm all right.
directing that
No,
towards?
Listen. I'm fine. I'm okay.
Who are you directing that toward?
Fuck you. I'm all right.
Are
Everything's
you gonna
fine.
be okay?
I'm
Are you
all right.
okay? How are the Sabres doing? Are the Sabres okay?
They are, I think, tied right now.
Okay. All right.
They are tied with the Hurricanes. So
Great.
You can see Wings were down 1-0 at the Rangers last I saw.
yeah.
What do you want to say? What do you,
No, I
what do
mean,
you
it's
wanna
just they're
what
just
is there
not
to say?
very good. They're inconsistent this year. It is. I think it's obvious what they are. If they do manage to get to the playoffs, it's a quick exit. So they need to really. I mean, Dorsey needs to go. He is an embarrassment. And the Bengals were smart enough because the Bills lost 2 more defensive starters in this game. They attacked the backups, which is what you do. So it just sometimes it's just not your year.
I'm going to poke the bear only because last week you called Dorsey the 3rd best offensive coordinator you'd seen with the Bills. Is that still true?
He's probably the 2nd best now. He's still up there because I would still put him above a lot of guys, but it's still he just doesn't know.
Yeah.
Honestly, he doesn't know how to. Somebody's mentioned this, and I thought this was excellent. His offensive game plan is let Josh Allen do Josh Allen things, and the
That's
fact
true.
that they've won 5 games by that offense is incredible. because, and I think that speaks to how talented Josh Allen is. That's all he has. There's no identity to this team. There's no like power run or, 4 verts or anything like that. It's just let Josh Allen do things. And that's not the sign of a good coach. That's a sign of somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Even if they get, anybody there who has like a somewhat competent game plan or a focused game plan, it's better than Dorsey. He just doesn't know what he's doing. It's embarrassing.
Does this, in your estimation, require a change at head coach as well?
No, McDermott. No, absolutely not. McDermott is doing that when he's also calling the defensive plays, which he won't be doing next year. That he's just doing this as like, I have to do this because I don't have anybody else right now. And I don't hate the defense with considering how bad they were, missing 7 out of 11 defensive starters from the beginning of the year, and considering that, they've played pretty damn well. And McDermott does, a good job. He sticks with these guys, whether it be players or coaches, for way longer than he needs to. If that's one criticism I can throw out there, McDermott, it's that he just sticks with these guys too long. And he's got to kick Dorsey to the curb because I don't see it improving. I don't see the Bills having another offensive output like they were having early in the year because he can't game plan. He can't figure it out. And, here's another thing, too. It's not like the Bills' offense is injured. They don't have that excuse. No. The defense has plenty of excuses because they're crippled. The offense is healthy, other than Dawson Knox, and Dalton Kincaid looks good. So that seems to be, there's no excuse there other than just bad coaching and bad execution. Anyway. Bengals look good. I like Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow looks good.
I will add only this. Joe Burrow seems to take singular pleasure in taking down other quarterbacks who people think are better than him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yep. He showed that. He showed that for sure. This was a good game, though. It was like really, really nice back and forth.
Sorry.
Calm down. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You're not playing the Bengals every week. You'll bounce back. It'll be fine. And plus, Leonard Fournette is coming in.
Yes, supposedly.
So, is that not happening?
No, he's there. He's on the practice squad, but they should. What? They need. Why not? Honestly, at this point, you're not going to use him anyway. You're not going to run the ball. So what's the point?
Right.
Have him in there to be an extra blocker for Josh.
I don't think Rasul Douglas played a lot in this game, did he?
No, him and the other Linval Joseph, the defensive tackle they signed last week. We're just
they'll get more playing time this week.
And that's I don't know. That's another. If I have another criticism, I don't want McDermott fired, but if I have to throw another criticism on him, and he's too slow to bring on like new players. If they bring somebody up or somebody comes back from injury, it feels like he just takes forever to get them into the lineup. Like Rasul Douglas, like Dobbs. It's not like he was on the bench for the last 8 weeks. He was starting. Yeah. He was a captain. Right. Like I think he can handle this.
It's a cornerback. Like he kind of knows what he's. If is it man or zone?
Right, it's zone, and he's great. It's the exact same defense. And they were like, you know what? 10% of the snaps for this game. You'll be all right. We don't need you against the Bengals. You'll be all right. We need you next week for the Broncos. That's what we're going to need you for. So.
Oh my! All right, it is time. It is time for the ballad of the 2023 Carolina Panthers.
Fuck you! Oh no, I'm sorry. Okay, no, go ahead.
That's what I want to say. That's what I want to say. I received this. I cannot sing this. I received an actual ballad with lyrics.
Wow. Holy shit.
From Chris. Friend of the show, Chris. It is the official ballad of the 2023 Carolina Panthers. Which he said, I would write this. And then 10 minutes later he wrote, since I can't get this idea out of my head now, I did write it.
There you go.
Ready? I am not going to sing it. We owe our pick to the Bears, but we can barely win a game. We hired the corpse of Frank Reich because we found some old merch with his name. Carolina, oh Carolina, our quarterback can't ride a roller coaster. Carolina, oh Carolina, if you order top shelf, he can't serve you. Our quarterback can't see over the top of the O-line. So he can't see the Panthers play. No wonder he's feeling fine. Carolina, oh Carolina. That pick should have been CJ Stroud. Carolina, oh Carolina. At least we don't have a sex pest in there like the Browns.
There you go.
No matter how bad it gets, things can always be worse. We have no shot at winning the worst division on the earth. Carolina, oh Carolina. We prove money can't buy everything. Carolina, oh Carolina. At least in golf, the lowest score wins. And hey, Kirk Cousins is going to need a new gig.
There you go. Oh,
Thank you.
well done, Chris. Well done.
Kirk Cousins. Oh, no.
Chris hit me up this week and he was like, I started writing a couple of songs again, which I hadn't done in a while. And I had no idea that was the song that he had written.
The ballad of the Carolina
Oh, I
Panthers.
love
Now,
I
It's amazing.
absolutely
Tune.
love it. Chris
It's
is
amazing.
very talented.
so
man.
funny. I laughed so hard when I read that the first time. The corpse of Frank Reich. Because
The roller coaster thing is my favorite part. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Too short to ride a roller coaster. Oh, my God.
You should
All
fire
right.
Frank.
What's that? You want
should
us to
fire
fire
Frank?
Frank so you can
Yes.
take him?
No, why would you say that? You should just fire
Ah.
Frank. Is there any like Raleigh to Buffalo direct flights? We should look into that.
Well, Frank played his old team. The Colts came to Carolina to play. And it was looking the same. Wasn't looking too bad. 20
Nope.
seconds to go. Bryce Young decided to throw a pick six to end the half. That was really bad. That was a really bad play.
Do you remember, by the way, in the movie The Room where you see the same sex scene twice?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know why I just brought that up, but anyway, continue.
Yeah. Well, we came back from the half, and then he threw a pick six again to the same guy. This time on a screen pass. Have you ever seen a pick six on a screen pass before? Rarely. It's rare.
Aaron Brooks. I
Aaron
Brooks.
distinctly remember that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
But by the way, I had the guy with the 2 pick sixes on my fantasy team. So big day for Drew.
wow. He has like 8 sisters, and they were all in attendance.
Aw, that's fun.
Yeah, they kept panning to the sisters and then showing the empty crowd. Anyway, the Colts' margin of victory was 2 pick sixes.
But it's all going to get better for the Panthers from here because you signed Blake I Choose You Martinez to play
Yes.
linebacker.
That's right. What a great story he is.
We signed a
amazing
guy who pretended to have very expensive Pokemon cards and duped people on whatnot.
Right.
Correct.
I love how it started off as legitimate and then went like veered very sharply.
Completely sideways.
Right.
He retired to do that.
Yes. Right.
He
has, like,
retired.
He has like legal proceedings against him, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he's doing this to pay off some of that.
He's kicked out of that platform.
Yeah.
Like it's like he'd be kicked
Yes.
off eBay if you don't
Right.
know what whatnot is. You're banned from eBay because you're such a piece of shit.
Whatnot
That
is
guy's
basically
our new middle linebacker.
I love the concept of Whatnot. We're gonna take a little break here. I love the concept of Whatnot, where I can just right now filming, just point to shit in on
Yeah.
my shelves, and now you're gonna buy that for me right now.
Yes,
Like, that's such
you're required to buy
a
this.
ridiculous idea, but it works. Oh my god, they had a huge booth at New York Comic Con.
Right. Yeah, well, I want to
What
sell
was
Frank
at it?
Reich on
People
whatnot.
just
Can I do
standing
that?
there?
What's that?
What was at their booth? People just standing there?
There was no merchandise at that booth, Drew. It was people getting free bags. That's and there was lines all the way down. It was insane.
Wow, I should have gone into marketing. Apparently it's
Yeah.
real easy.
Yeah.
I've actually, not to get too far off on a tangent, I said to my wife this morning, so my wife is very into canning jars, jams,
Mm.
fruit,
Jankum.
the whole bit. It's a different conversation, Mark.
Okay, sorry.
But the company that makes all these jars is Ball.
Mhm.
And I was like, see, this is why I'm not in marketing, because their entire marketing campaign for me would have been like, you need more balls. And it writes
Yes.
itself from there. Anyway, Blake Martinez, Pokemon cards, fixing the Carolina Panthers. That's how we got here.
Yeah, he's gonna fix it. Actually, I want to sell. I want to sell Frank Reich on whatnot. Can I do that?
Well-
There's a slightly used Josh McDaniels available in trade.
Okay, I don't want him. Nope. No thanks. I'll keep Frank. Oh, it was bad. It was ugly. It was bad. It was just bad. The team is bad. I feel bad for
Everybody's
Brian.
bad.
Brian Burns. I feel bad for him.
Is he going to be with you next year? Like, what? Oh, I guess you seem to be very committed. The Panthers seem incredibly committed to him because
I don't know
more
why.
teams
Yeah,
came out at the trade deadline and were like, "Hey, we'll give you a couple first," and you're like, "Nah,
we should have
keep
traded him
hostage for a
last
little
year.
longer."
Yeah, we should have traded him last year, but
Yeah.
that's okay. All right, moving on to the Caleb Williams dad bracket.
Yes, here we go.
The most confusing team in the NFL, the Browns, blanked the Cardinals. The tomb era is not going well.
Cardinals are doing too well with Josh Dobbs. It was time to make a change.
Yeah.
Honestly, that probably was some of the line of thinking there. I really hate the narrative of Browns fans who are like, we shut them out. Like however many yards, we did it. We're the best. Fucking Cardinals, man. Cardinals who were worse. They went actively tried to make themselves worse.
With a 6th round quarterback in his first start.
Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry. Like, Deshaun Watson, every time I see him, I just hate this team further. Like, I hate Browns fans for defending this asshole.
Right.
No likey.
Yeah.
He's number 32 in the Orton line.
Yes, that's true.
He is last spaced lower. He's got to be spaced lower,
right?
Which was an accident, but I approve.
Which, by the way, as a sidebar, Ryan, you've now read the entire Orton line.
Oh God!
Do you have any brief reflections?
I need to just spend like a solid 2 hours just doing that. I couldn't I stopped myself. You sent it to me during work, which was so I had to stop myself. Because I would have done no work the rest of the day.
This is the problem with not working regular work hours is I forget that other people do.
I opened that thing at 2:00 and I'm like, I will not do a thing for the next 2.5 hours if I open this now. Oh man, I just look forward to Jimmy Clausen. I need to look him up, see if he
was never above the line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy Clausen, who was in the news this week for Cam Newton, said that Jimmy Clausen tried to sell him the number 2 for $1 million when Cam Newton came into the league, and Cam went, "Fuck no!" Changed his number to number 1, so he wouldn't give Jimmy Clausen any money.
Good.
But I do appreciate, Clausen. He knew he wasn't going to last, so he had to get the money. Give me as much as I can get. All right, Caleb Williams' dad is very upset about the Cardinals. He's got to be upset.
Yes, he is.
He's got to be mad.
Usually upset.
I'm sure.
He's got to be furious.
They're the team that started this whole mess.
They started it, and he's still mad about it.
Oh, yeah.
This one's like a subcategory of Caleb Williams' dad. Now entering the chat, the Rams, who get boat raced by the Packers and dropped to 3-6. Mark's Rams.
Ryan had that horrible pick at the beginning of the year about the Rams. What a dumbass.
Mark's Rams have dropped to 3-6, which means Caleb Williams' dad wouldn't even have to move states.
Yeah.
He just hang out with the Rams.
Let's talk about the big news of the day, who the Rams signed. Oh, dear
Thus
God.
ensuring their participation in the Caleb Williams dad sweep.
Yeah,
Carson Wentz is back.
In case of emergency, break glass.
Why are you doing this?
Oh, my God. You know what I read? It really isn't the talent or the, he's healthy enough to play. It's everyone was saying the attitude. And that is horrifying.
It's not a secret with him.
Yeah. If you're not on a team for 9 weeks and you're a talented quarterback with that many starts under your belt and you are like blackballed because of your shitty attitude, oh my God.
Somebody one time, I forget who it was, had asked him about are you excited for the playoffs or something? And he was like, I can't wait till it's over. That was his answer.
Mm-hmm.
Like as if it was like a real job. Like I can't wait till this.
Oh my God.
Can't wait till the Target holiday season is over. You're making the playoffs, Carson. You're not in retail. Yeah, well, he's going to play. Good Lord. The Rams they're just trying to move up that list.
Oh, man, though.
Caleb Williams' dad has got to be thrilled. He's got to be thrilled with
Stafford. So I had an interesting conversation with somebody at work today. Okay. Say that this, it's not even a hypothetical. Let's say this is Stafford's last year and he's done.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Dude is 11th all-time passing. Does he get in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Won a Super Bowl?
No.
Wow. 11th all-time, though?
No, and I feel strong in saying no.
Okay. Why?
because until he went to the Rams, he had no memorable games in his career.
Mm-hmm.
He never turned the Lions around.
No, I mean they didn't give him a lot of help though, Drew. I mean
They gave him Calvin Johnson,
who?
who, by the way, is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, good point. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I looked at that and it kind of surprised me because I did not think he was that high on the list. But my God, 11th?
No, but he was one of those dudes who he was like the first guy who had like 700 passing attempts in a season.
Right.
It's the Henry Ellard rule. He's just compiled so many stats over the years, but he never turned the Lions into a formidable team.
Right. No, I hear you. I hear you. It was just like, it's kind of shocking. Like I also saw like Russell Wilson is like 19. Does he go in the Hall?
I think Russell's got a better shot at it than Stafford does.
Yeah.
And I understand that you could put the blind resumes up and they probably look very similar, but like, I don't know. Russ was the unquestioned leader of a perennial playoff contender.
Russ, to your point, Drew, did win them games by like sheer will.
By himself.
Right, by himself. And, there's also something to be said about like him being something of an aberration, being as small as he was and being as successful as he was. So I feel like he does get points for that too.
See, short quarterbacks are great.
Oh, okay. I have a whole song for me now, so I'm happy. I just wanted a song written for me. Yeah, the Rams are in there now. They're in the Caleb Williams Dad bracket. Forever in the bracket, the Saints take out the Bears. The Tyson Bagely experience.
Yeah.
It's just not going well. This guy.
But
I don't know.
Huge congratulations to Montez Sweat for getting Jaylen Brown money.
Yeah,
if not in amount, at least in principle.
I think I texted you guys about this. $96 million for a guy that never hit double digit sacks. He hasn't even sniffed 10 sacks, Drew.
This is bizarre thinking by the Bears. I still don't understand why they're doing this, but okay. Go ahead, Bears.
You have the money. You might as well. Like, is there?
You got to pay somebody.
Is there a floor in the NFL like there is in hockey? Like, do you have to spend over a certain amount?
Oh God!
Elephants are like people, Mrs. Simpson. Some of them are just jerks. Like some teams are just shitty at running a team. I should know.
Oh, the Bears. I'm excited because Thursday Night Football is Bears versus Panthers, the shit bowl. The tie, the bottom of the barrel against each other.
But we say it every week. You know who's watching that game with rapt attention?
Caleb Williams' dad.
Oh my God, dad. Might be there.
He might be attempting to wire the stadium with explosives.
Yeah, right. He just wants, please, just both teams
At
win.
what point does Caleb Williams' dad give up on like watching NFL teams and start watching like North Carolina games to try to see if he can actively sabotage May?
Yeah.
He just starts showing up there as like a specter.
I also like that I just put it into the universe that Caleb Williams' dad is like the bad guy from Face Off. He's going to blow up a hockey game or whatever. So.
I hear he can eat a peach for hours.
I've heard that.
I love that movie.
So do I.
So dumb.
That is.
Jean-Claude Van Damme takes over as a goalie at one point. But for some inexplicable reason, we reviewed this show on one of my old podcasts, or this movie. For reasons that cannot be explained to me, why he does not roundhouse kick a puck out of the air mid-game.
Yeah, right.
Why did they not do that?
That would have been your Enrico Palazzo moment.
Except we needed that in that movie. The movie is so stupid anyway. All right. He's like a fire marshal in it, too. He's not a karate expert. He's a fire marshal.
Of a decade.
It makes no sense. All right, anyway.
90s were a magical time.
Oh, they sure were.
Caleb Williams' dad. This is a separate category. These teams both might be in the Caleb Williams' dad bracket as well. I call this, because they're playing this week, I believe. Set me straight if I'm wrong. Maryland versus Nebraska, the Ron Bowl.
They are playing each other this weekend.
The Ron Rivera Bowl. The Commanders beat the Patriots. And we've seen Desmond Ridder, right? We've seen Desmond Ridder's accuracy. He's thrown some of the worst passes I've seen in a while. Mac Jones, man, had
Yeah.
some of the worst passes I've seen this season, and I've
Not
seen
that he
Desmond
was
Ritter.
high on the Orton list, but that man is plummeting down the Orton
Yeah,
list.
he is. I
Ooh.
fought for him to be lower than he is.
Yeah, he is
But
not
he's
good at this.
he's not good.
No.
It was bad.
This was the first time, actually, I can think ever that a Boston media personality asked Belichick if he was coaching for his job. Like,
Wow.
if
Yeah.
they've turned on him, like, it's bad.
There were some dumb penalties in this game where
Yes.
the commentators actually called out Belichick,
Right.
and they're like, "This is not how the Patriots have ever played."
Right. And my plucky Commanders
Sam Howell, he's moving up
looking
the
good.
Orton list. Please
Let's not
Respect.
get excited.
put some respect on Sam Howell's name.
I like
He's my
Sam.
guy.
Sam Howell reminds me a little bit of Fitzmagic.
Yeah,
Just a little
he's
bit,
got
you
the
know?
magic. You're
Boy,
right.
that is damning with faint praise.
It
if ever
is.
There's been
It
such a
absolutely
thing.
is. He has a ceiling, and that ceiling is Fitzmagic.
Did you know Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard?
I heard.
Never heard that before.
You ever see his? You ever see his beard? That's annoying. I don't know if you.
Josh
ever
Dobbs is a rocket scientist. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
right.
heard that before. All right, that's the Maryland versus Nebraska Ron Bowl. Who's gonna get him?
Yeah.
Somebody.
Once again, I love that we're talking about this. Like he could go, like he could make the playoffs at like 11 and whatever. Let's pretend, right?
Yeah.
And we'll still like end that right before that wild card game. We're like, I don't know, Maryland's looking pretty good.
Maryland's got
Like
fire.
he has
They're
no
coming.
shot
Yeah.
to come back.
Ron won't know if he's making the playoffs or not, though.
Yeah, right.
That's the silly thing about Ron. He won't have any idea.
I honestly though, I like Ron. I just feel like that team will want to clean house.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
the
I
new
agree.
owners. I feel like they gave him a year because they bought the team. They're not going to fire him within the first year, but I think they just want their own guy in there. And it's no fault of Ron. I think Ron is a hell of a coach
Sure.
At
He's not
Maryland.
bad.
at Maryland.
He'll be at Maryland. All right, category forever 2-2. The Steelers beat the Titans. Somebody put milk in the Titans Gatorade. Will Levis came back to earth. I mean, he's still more exciting than
Look
So, the
good though.
Tannehill.
Like I mean, he did.
Yeah.
And I was happy to see that they did name him the starter
Yes,
moving forward. It's
moving
not
forward.
like Tannehill's gonna
yeah,
get that job
right.
back. So,
Right. he gives them a spark. We'll see what happens, but
Think about the Steelers where they're like minus 30 in the point differential. They're 5
Jesus
and
Christ.
3.
I know.
Amazing.
the offense is so bad.
That can't be sustainable. Like that's just not gonna continue.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And the defending of Pickett, of baby
Yeah.
hands by Tomlin being like he's not good until the end of the game. And he's like, that's the most important part. Okay, Tomlin.
I mean,
He's bad.
I've said it for years. A win is a win is a win. I mean, as long as they keep winning, but
Yep.
it seems far fetched that this could continue.
Sure does. The Ravens, week after I talked all about the Seahawks, the Ravens blow out the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Just kill him.
You feeling a little different about Geno Smith being
Yeah.
below the line now?
Yeah. Yeah.
We all saw this one. I think we all called this one too. It was just,
Yeah.
the Seahawks, they were 6, what was it, 5 and 2, 6 and 2, figure out what they were at. Well, like
Yeah.
everyone knows what this team is. Like it's shades of another team we'll be talking about, but it seems like when they play the tough teams, they lose.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
oh, by the way, the Ravens, for all of their dysfunction and like nobody quite understanding what's happening with their roster, they're suddenly like 6 and 2 and head and shoulders above their
Yep.
division.
Yeah. Yep. So the defense is really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Lamar didn't even finish this game. Tyler Huntley did.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Well, why
And
would
they
you keep
still
him
blew
in?
him
Yeah.
out. Yeah, they still blew him out. Oh boy. This hurts. The Texans have a shootout with the Bucks. The most exciting game of the week. Texans
that
and
was
Bucks. Who would
really
have put
fun.
that on their bingo card? But CJ Stroud goes out and throws for more yards than any rookie has ever thrown for. Oh,
Hey, listen,
God.
Ryan,
Yeah.
you're doing good.
It's like when your ex-girlfriend becomes the CEO of the company you work for.
Yep.
Oh my God. CJ Stroud is good. I always said he was good. I've been proven right. That's what I'm
Yep.
going to say here.
You were on the CJ Stroud
He was
bandwagon.
my guy.
You
Right.
were.
He was my guy.
Stroud looks amazing.
He is good.
I mean, holy shit, he is
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal. I mean,
Here's a-
regardless of what like the Bucks aren't world destroyers, but they're still
No.
like I would
They're
say an
a
average
competent
team.
football team.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right. Which is
Here's something funny that happened to me when I was watching this game. I sort of like forgot who the Bucks coach was, and I just saw Todd Bowles' face, and I was like, "Ew,
Yeah.
him? All right,
was he
him.
showing zero emotion on the side?
Yes, yeah, yes." They lose, and he's just like,
He's
Like-
always been a robot.
"Todd Bowles, really, guys?
He's another
Still?
one who will probably not make it through
Yeah,
this,
he's
or
gone.
He's
next
gone.
season. Yeah, right.
He's gone."
Good defensive coordinator though.
Yeah.
Just here for-
Funny moment in this game was the kicker got hurt, so they had to
Yeah.
bring in a backup running back to make a field goal,
I
and he
love
made
that.
it.
He made it. Yeah.
I'll throw this out there just to defend the Bucks a little bit. Like, give Baker Mayfield some credit. Like
Sure.
the Bucks struck out on every quarterback they wanted and had to walk themselves into Baker Mayfield, and he's been all right for them.
He's been
Yeah.
fine. He is not the problem. He's looking
No,
pretty good.
He's
he's
okay.
below the line, but he's not
Yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I think he's, once again, like he was taken number 1 overall and
Never should have been.
could have been.
No,
But
never
then
should have
I think he gets that attached to him. Like, oh, the number 1 overall pick, he should be lighting it up. I still
Yeah.
think he's had a pretty solid career up to
And-
this point.
And he was one of those guys, Kyler Murray was one of those guys who had a sudden last second rise to
Yes.
number 1.
Right.
And the only one of those guys who's had a rise like that close to the draft that turned out to be any good at all was Phillip Rivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
all the
right.
rest of them have turned out to be duds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, CJ Stroud's going to win Rookie of the Year already.
Probably
That's locked up. That's locked up. Oh boy, D'Amico Ryans looks like a great hire for the
Yeah.
the Texans are got a really bright future.
My
thought they
Texans
would
are
stink.
feisty. I love it.
I thought they would stink. I thought Stroud would be good, but they would stink, and they do not stink. They're already good. They're already decent. So
Somewhere Andre Johnson's just chewing on a piece of leather. Like,
Yeah.
couldn't have put this together when I was there, could you?
come on.
So I just figured
Uh,
in my mind, Ryan, you were watching this game and just staring at it in silence, and your son's
Yeah.
like, "Daddy, can you help me with a popsicle house?" And you just like break it and just chuck it aside
just
and just
me
continue staring into the
with
nothingness.
with "Hello Darkness, My Old
Right.
Friend" playing.
Yeah.
Why is this song playing, Dad?
Yeah.
He could have been mine.
Bring me another popsicle house.
He could have been mine. I just crush it again.
Yep.
Crush
Yeah.
another one.
Build me another.
The other forever 2-2 is the Chargers. What is this? 2 games in a row? The Chargers have won a game
I
without
know.
any drama at all.
Shenanigans. Yeah, I mean,
Chargers beat the Jets.
they're a little fortunate the schedule has
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
hit this point in the year.
But the Chargers always Charger.
Yeah.
So what? They comfortably beat the Bears, and now the Jets comfortable win.
Zach Wilson, he was
He's not
30th.
good.
He might be 32. He is in the Orton line. He is.
I mean, that
He's-
one guy
he's
dropped a
real
wide
bad.
open touchdown though.
He's not a sex pest, though.
No, he's not a sex
Certainly
pest, but,
not.
Like, what also Salah?
He
like,
does do weird sex stuff, but he's not a pest.
yes, that's true.
Yes.
But they're mostly
He's
harmless
not been
sex stuff.
charged with anything.
Yeah,
He
it's
has
consensual. That is, I think, the most that is the most important
Yeah,
part of Zach
right.
Wilson.
It's
right?
consensual,
It's
but
like-
it's weird.
it's like,
It's still weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
like
still does
Delonte-
weird stuff.
Like Delonte West and LeBron James' mom. Things happened. It's totally fine.
Something happened there. Yeah. Ooh. Delonte West. Uh,
I don't know if he's more famous for allegedly having an affair with LeBron James' mom or for being the guy who applied at like a Home Depot during the lockout because he didn't have any other money.
you got to do what you got to do, Delonte.
Yeah,
I
right.
get it.
Interesting chat.
Mhm.
Wonder what he's doing now besides
Uh.
listening to our podcast.
LeBron James's mom.
You said that so cautiously.
Well done by you.
LeBron James's mom.
Allegedly.
Can I say this or not?
Woo! Covered my ass.
Can I say this or not?
Well, listen,
Uh.
the problem is you always live in fear of LeBron because there was that time when Braylon Edwards, coming off his best season, got in a fight with one of Bron's friends at a club in Cleveland and got traded like a week later.
Right?
The tendrils of Bron reach long.
They do. Oh lordy, that was good. All right, last category is the Das Wunderkinds, the Chiefs, play in Germany, defeat the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill fumbles.
Oh my god!
It's just the most Chiefs. Great Chiefs win.
Yep.
Great
Yep.
Chiefs
Dolphin,
win.
and honestly,
The
Dolphins,
Germans love the Chiefs.
yeah.
Too.
Also, let's give like Germany more like games than England. Like I the German fans were fucking into this shit. Like a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of times with England, it's just kind of like casual golf claps. Like I thought they were really passionate about this one. I tuned in at halftime because I was raking leaves, and I saw it was like 21-0. I'm like, oof. So I give the Dolphins credit for fighting back,
Yeah.
but there's still that stigma that they can't beat good teams.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, that
it
fumble
seems
was,
to be, but like 2 years now where it's
yeah.
nothing's happened.
Well, we'll see. I mean, they're not playing the Chiefs every week.
Right.
They do get to play the rest of the AFC.
Yes.
I'm starting to think the AFC is not that great, minus 3 or 4 teams.
I think
Right?
the NFL's not that great.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
think the NFL is
Yeah.
good this year.
yeah, right.
It's like all those years. It's like, who's good in the NFC? The 49ers, and
Nobody.
Right.
we'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh boy. All right. Time for our segments. Beginning with a sad boy boat. I think. Let's see here. Who's going on the sad boy boat? Ryan Tannehill?
Yes.
Benched.
Ryan
Is he on a
Tannehill.
sad boy boat?
Mhm.
Ryan Tannehill.
Is Stafford on the sad boy boat, or is it just like
It's a thumb injury.
is he on like a
so-
Viking funeral pyre, or is it like
Dude,
trailing behind the sad boy boat?
I forget who the guy was. There was a player in the NBA that if he came into the game, they used to refer to him as the human victory cigar. Carson Wentz is like the human funeral dirge.
Yeah.
Like if you're
Dirge.
bringing in Carson Wentz, like
Yeah.
Taps is already being played somewhere.
Mhm.
Yes.
You're done.
You're dead. You're dead. All right. Tannehill's on there.
Mm-hmm.
Sean McVay, sad boy vote. Should he be
I
sad?
feel like
now that
a
he
Ram
has-
has to be on there because
Is it
this-
a
There
Ram?
has to be somebody
Right.
involved
Like
because
McVay.
they're clearly drawn dead.
All right.
because McVay is doing the Barney watching job at this point. With
Yeah.
bringing in Carson
We've all
Wentz.
contemplated it in our
Right.
lowest moments.
Okay, so that's 2. I'm gonna put one out there because he's literally the saddest football player I think I've seen in the last few weeks. It's our buddy Caleb Williams. This guy's crying every game
Yeah.
on the sideline. He's putting it all out. I feel bad for him. He's putting it all out there. He's got
played-
nothing. He's got
He
no
played
help,
so
and he just
well
cried.
in that game.
Yeah,
He
I
played
know.
so well in that game, and their defense is
And
so
they just-
not good at
I'll
the
tell you
back.
what,
Lose, and he
like,
cries every
won
week.
me over for him. Like I've watched a lot of games with him, and I know how talented he is. When that one freshman, like that 6'4" freshman, dropped that like wide open
Yes.
pass, and
Yep.
the next scene, like the next shot was him on the sidelines talking to him. It's like, hey man, there'll be plenty more of those. Get back next. Like I thought that was such a great moment from him, and showed me everything I need to know that this guy's going to be a hell of a quarterback. I already knew.
I like him
already
too.
knew he was going to be.
I'm-
But
I'm
like,
not-
that leadership, that was amazing. You didn't have to do that.
I don't have any problem with him crying. And just
Mhm.
he's a very sad guy right now. He's lost several games in a row and he cries at the end of every game.
Vermeil-esque with his crying.
Yes, he's just a crier.
Yeah. All right.
He's got to
that's
be on
fine.
the sad boy.
We'll
All
go
right,
on
that's
that.
3. We need one more.
Ugh.
We need one more.
Mm.
Frank Reich is
If
Frank
he
Reich?
loses this Thursday,
if he loses
I
to the
mean,
Bears.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if he loses this Thursday, I've already heard rumblings.
Speaking of dead money, now they're paying dead money to Rule and it would be Reich as well. Yikes. I don't know. Josh McDaniels, sad boy.
Oh
Fired-
yeah,
fired on
Yeah,
fired trick or
right,
treating with his kids.
right. I mean, Dayball, we always assume is right behind him.
Oh, he's
That's me.
furious.
Yeah.
There was a cut to him, I think,
Oh, I
during this game
know.
where he literally screamed, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he was purple.
And I forget which announcer it was. They're like, "Oh boy,
yeah,
Oh, we all know what he just said.
He is.
Dayball is not happy.
Mm-mm.
One
His
step
arteries are
away
just
from
a one-lane highway right now. They're just-
maybe the rage just keeps him going.
That's the only
It's
thing,
like
yeah, that fuels him.
the rage fuels him.
Yeah.
It's like Darth Vader. He's living
Yes.
on hate at this
Right.
point.
Yes.
Got
Right.
it.
Yes.
You might need a breathing mask in short order if he keeps this up.
Oh, he definitely has one. He says he uses it for sleep, Drew.
In that poncho, he's got one. Oh, okay. All right. Broadcasting moments of the week. Here we go. Let's see what we got here. Broadcasting moments of the week. We've got some. It's quick. All right. This first one is coaching contracts are fully guaranteed. Now the Raiders will owe between $40 and $80 million for coaches not to coach the team. That's a sad state of affairs.
Hashtag Charlie Weiss money.
What's funnier though is Arnold Schwarzenegger was on the Manicast and brought his donkey on camera for some reason.
I didn't know what that was at first. I thought it was a tribble. So,
It's a donkey
Also,
that lives in
listen-
his house.
okay.
Listen, Arnold is one of those people who, regardless of whatever horrible things he may have done during his previous relationships, I will irrationally forgive him all of his sins. So let that man do whatever he wants.
Did you ever hear the story about how Andre the Giant, he went out to lunch with Andre the Giant and he wanted to pay? Did you ever hear the story? It's real
Mm-mm.
quick. I can tell it really fast. So this is when like Andre they were doing some movie together. I think it was like Conan maybe. I don't know. Anyway, Andre was there. And they went out to lunch and Arnold's like, here, let me pay. And he called the waitress over and Andre's like, no. He's like, I pay. He's like, no. I want to pay. He's like, no, I pay. And he goes, no, I'm just. He brings the waitress over, and Andre picked up Arnold Schwarzenegger and put him on a coat rack. It's Arnold telling that story because I've never felt more like an infant. Because it's like I've always been a big guy, and when you get manhandled like that, you really like your perspective on your life changes. Just to be placed on a coat rack by another human.
Arnold.
They
you
all
watched-
learn, Mark.
Yes, they all learn.
They all learn.
Oh,
If you watch
Andre.
the Arnold documentary on Netflix, I think you see this donkey and it walks into his house is like open air and it like walks in and out. Like he has it just hanging out.
Okay.
All right. I thought this was funny. NFL memes. The NFL forces us to watch more Jets in prime time. You will watch. Wow. What movie is this from again? I have no idea.
Bird Box I think it's called.
Oh, it's the Bird Box. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought this was funny. Frank Ross celebrating the who's the special teams guy for the Texans, going crazy for this field goal by Dare Ogunbowale.
Yep.
We didn't say his name before, but this guy kicked a little field goal here. And this guy went nuts.
I love it. That's great.
I love it. I don't understand what this is, but it's Josh Jobs in an astronaut outfit.
As you do.
Is it Photoshopped? Is it not? I'm not really sure. He was at NASA, I think, for something. He's a scientist. There he is. Josh Jobs is an astronaut. This is weird, right? Refs
Well, the
just
ref, yeah,
touching this guy's butt.
right. Really going for it too.
What is he doing?
I don't know.
He's just like,
Let go.
stop touching my butt. Oh.
So, my wife and I once went to a wedding, and I won't even say what part of the country it was in. But and it was a lovely wedding. There were some things about it. One of which was that the mother-son dance consisted of the groom just holding his mom's ass and sobbing uncontrollably.
Oh my god.
And to make it better, they picked like a 6-minute song.
Oh.
God.
Anyway, that reminded me of this.
Yeah. Dave's wedding was weird, you're right.
It was one of those moments where I looked at my wife like, this is weird, right? And she looked at me, and then we realized that everyone in the room who wasn't specifically involved in the dance was looking at each other.
Everyone thought it was weird.
I mean, just openly weeping.
Grabbing some butt. We saw this, or we talked about Carson coming in to
What a
rep the
great
Ray.
picture of it, Carson.
Derp face.
Me?
I don't think there are any
Me?
I don't think there are any good pictures of Carson Wentz.
No.
there's
My
not.
God.
No, there's not. That's broadcasting moments of the week. Greg's bets. We got none. The guy's just out of commission. He doesn't know what to do.
We know he's been sick. Let's cut him some slack. I mean,
He's been sick.
Right.
He's been sick. He's been drunk on Will Levis.
dealing with things at New York Comic Con.
Yeah, right. A lot of things. All right. So that means it's time for the Stripe Spiral.
Yay.
Can we talk about how Michigan did the whole you did it to us?
Yes,
Yeah, right.
And my favorite part of the Connor Stallion story was that the initial reporting said that Michigan fired him, which is as good as admitting that something terrible happened.
Right.
And then in turn, he was like, "No, I resigned." Like, we're still on path for the Bob Kraft Super Bowl ring story here.
Yeah.
Hold on, there's a train about to pass in the night.
Yay. Cat butt.
Okay, all right. All right. So things we check in on every week, and then there were 7.
Yes.
There are now 7 undefeated teams in the league.
I think
Or
lead
in
with the
alphabet
best, Drew. The ranked.
And then there was 1, the Liberty Flames.
Yes.
Who finally cracked the AP top 25,
Yes, they did.
literally in 25th.
Wow.
They did not crack the college football playoff rankings.
That's all right. It's only a matter of time before my Liberty Flames
Oh,
are crashing the party.
Perfect.
It's and as the show on ESPN was revealing all the rankings tonight, they started 25 ago. And as soon as Kansas State was at 25, I was like, all right, there's no chance Liberty made the rankings. But then they go through and they do 4 and 3, and then they paused before 2 and 1, and I was like, please let Liberty be the 2 or 1.
oh my God.
Just for a week. I just want to see everybody turn themselves inside out. So Liberty still no respect. We did lose 1 undefeated. Air Force went down to Army. Huge win for Army.
Damn
Because
it.
now if Army beats Navy, they'll win the Commander's Cup, which everybody thought was a foregone conclusion or the Commander-in-Chief's trophy that everybody thought was a foregone conclusion that Air Force was going to win. And then, most importantly, there were none. Sam Houston State beats Kennesaw State on a game-winning field goal as time expired.
Oh my
So,
God.
all 133 teams have won at least one game.
Awesome.
So, all right, into the actual stories of the week. Never minding Michigan, who handled their business, but that continues to be ongoing. Bedlam was the biggest story of the week.
Yes. Right.
Oklahoma State defeats Oklahoma and eliminates them functionally from college football playoff contention, except the game ends on a ridiculous no call on pass interference in the end zone. So cue all the conspiracy theorists who will say that the Big 12 did not want Oklahoma to walk out of there with a win. And thus eliminate themselves. Now, the way the Big 12 works, Oklahoma could still win the Big 12 championship if they don't lose any other games, and then they would play Texas again, and blah, 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 blah. But cue the conspiracy theory that Oklahoma State ends with Oklahoma State on a no call. Unfortunately for everybody involved, no bath salts Josh Allen for Syracuse this week. They lose an exceptionally ugly game to Boston College, who I don't think is a ton better, but managed to get to bowl eligibility. Texas A&M loses again, this time to Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin takes particular joy in beating anybody associated with his past. In this case, I believe he was assistant at Alabama at the same time that Jimbo may have been. They cross paths somewhere, and he loves beating all of these coaches who get paid more than him, also because he's a jerk. Jimbo getting closer to Charlie Weiss money. Jimbo Fisher in his last 18 games against Power 5 conference opponents is 6-12.
Wow. That is.
And by the way, everyone in the SEC counts as a Power 5 opponent. So this is not trending well for the folks at College Station. Many rumblings about Jimbo's job security. Clemson suddenly alive and kicking, and now Dabo is right back to being the insufferable Dabo that we've come to loathe over the past 4 or 5 years.
No one believed in us. No one believed in us.
Yeah, although he used an iteration of the F word. Of course, he didn't use the actual one, but he said freaking, and that's very serious for Dabo.
Whoa.
In case you missed it, UConn was a 35-point underdog on the road at Tennessee and lost by 56.
What?
My virtual alma mater, Tennessee.
Tennessee had the spread just about covered at half. They've
Wow.
won 59-3.
Did Jim Mora Jr. is he still coaching there?
Yes.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I
Oh,
offer
That's
no
perfectly
qualifiers.
fine.
He's still coaching there.
oh boy. For now.
Yes.
He could be fired any minute.
Nebraska loses to Michigan State, but that's okay because Wisconsin also whizzed down their legs. So the Big Ten West is suddenly throttle held by Iowa, who beat Northwestern 10-7.
I'm about to say,
Oh,
yeah,
Iowa.
no way they got above 13 points.
10-7 against Northwestern.
I love it. I
Northwestern
love that they just
knows
like
who their coach is.
they just drag everybody down with them.
They do.
I love
It's
it.
awful.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait for the Big Ten championship game to end like 8-6. It's
Yes.
gonna be
Right.
awesome.
There's
And
definitely a
Iowa's
safety
still-
in there.
I was still gonna lose, but it's
Yep.
gonna be 8-6. Because there was, and the only reason this is unfortunate with Nebraska and Wisconsin losing is because going into the weekend, somebody online, I believe they call themselves the Sicko Committee, they figured out a way in which all 7 Big Ten West teams could finish tied for the Big Ten West.
That's
Now,
good.
you needed some unlikely games to happen, but it was the possibility that all 7 teams in the Big Ten West could have finished with the same record.
Oh God.
Remember last week we brought back the specter of Rich Rodriguez?
Oh
So it
God,
turns out-
yes.
Turns out he's the head coach at new FBS team Jacksonville State.
Oh, there you go.
They're 3-6 or 4-5 or something like that. This is the best comeback from exile since June Jones, and
Yes.
prior to that, Napoleon.
We always joked around that June Jones got exiled from the mainland.
Mainland when he went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then he came back and kind of resurrected SMU, and now the rest is history.
Mhm.
But yeah, look for Rich Rod to be coaching Texas A&M next year alongside
Oh,
Bobby
God.
Petrino. They'll be the most hateable team in college
Just
football.
put them
They
all
will
on the same staff.
Oh, head
themselves
coach.
way past Colorado. Army beats Air Force. We talked about that, which actually makes life easy for Tulane. This gives them a little bit more margin for error. They are the only Group of 5 team currently ranked in the college football playoff rankings. Even if they lose another game, I think they still have the head-to-head over SMU, so they would still make their way into the AAC title game. So life for Tulane got a little bit easier. And James Madison started making a bunch of official noise about how they should be eligible for postseason play, even though it's not even a conference rule that's holding them back. It's like an
Yeah.
NCAA rule about transfer. There's really nothing anybody's going to do here.
Right.
The NCAA is not inclined to bend their rule about transferring in order to make JMU happy.
Right.
In the meantime, if you're looking forward to this weekend, Michigan Penn State is the biggest single game on the schedule, depending on your opinion of Ole Miss and Georgia. But the most interesting time slot in terms of 2 games going on at once is 3:30, Miami and Florida State, only because they are in-state rivals, and you know Miami is hungry to take down a Florida State team, which seems to play down to their competition, and Utah and Washington, because Utah has prime ruin the Pac-12 for everybody energy, and if Washington were going to slip, it would be in this game.
Wow.
Man, 2 things. Remember how amazing Miami, Florida State used to be? We used to get together
Yes.
to watch Miami,
Yes.
Florida State. And now
All-
it's like
That holy trinity of Florida games, all
Yes.
of those were worth getting together with friends to watch, like Florida
Absolutely.
State,
Yeah.
Florida, Miami, and then Miami, Florida State.
Yep. And did you also see that Dion was talking about his Shadir about going into the declaring for the NFL draft?
He's not going.
Well, did you see the actual thing though? Because he was just like, why would he do that? Why would he do that? He's like, he's perfectly happy here. And they cut to Shadir and he's just like side-eyeing. He's like, oh, are we one step closer to I don't want your life, daddy?
Oh.
The only
Like-
way this gets more amazing, because it seems like there's only, to use the baseball term, there's only 2 true outcomes here, right? Which is either he goes to the NFL or he stays at Colorado for his senior season. Less likely, but more chaotic would be if he transfers to another school.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because he's already transferred once, he would have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's going to happen because he's not going to get granted an eligibility waiver. But like that would be in some other universe, there's the possibility where with the rules he could transfer somewhere else.
It's hysterical.
Yeah, he's going pro. I don't think there's any.
I honestly like the fact that his dad was so adamant that he's not. I'm like, did you talk to your kid about this?
Oh boy.
Like he seems like he wants to go.
New New England Patriots quarterback,
Yeah,
Shador
right.
Sanders.
Oh. He did. Dion also said he doesn't want to coach in the NFL. I saw that today. He said he doesn't think he's built for the NFL.
I actually understand it. Like his entire thing is about like reputation and hype and image and being able to convince people to play for him. It's a lot different coaching at the NFL level,
Oh,
where
yeah.
to some degree you're a glorified coordinator. And I like kind of like Dabo. I don't know if Dion is an XO guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
No.
He'd have to be with like the right owner, if that makes sense. Like somebody who's willing to kind of throw some money around. Like Dion would not survive.
Mark Davis,
Yeah, right.
Why not?
defensive coordinator Jim Harbaugh, head
Yep.
coach Deion Sanders, Caleb
I mean-
Williams under center. Everything's looking up for the Raiders.
That the
I
chaos
mean-
begin.
We know that the Raiders, he was like the apple of their eye forever. Like
Right.
he was the prototypical, like he's super fast and exciting.
Yep.
Throw it deep. We need him. They were just never good enough to get him. Okay, Stripe Spiral. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Conference championships coming up soon.
Yeah.
3 weeks
right.
away.
It's pretty close. All right, FUBAR time. Who's going in the Idiot Hall of Fame this week? Is it a happy ending like last week?
No. So, as Drew said, things are looking up for the Raiders. But I'd be remiss if I didn't bring you back to a more miserable time, Drew. So,
Oh no.
There's
I've
so
been-
many. Which
I've been wanting to do this one for a while because it's a rare double down induction of football FUBAR, because today Antonio Brown is going in again, this time for his Raiders tenure. So as
Wait.
I look for
Okay,
Yes.
which
yeah.
was short, but which
So
was
he
short
went
but
in
eventful.
for
the Empire,
just for the Albany Empire.
just for the Albany Empire.
Yes.
So now he's going in for his tenure with the Raiders. So much
Tenure.
like Rocky, let me take you back, gents, okay, to the magical land, magical era of 2018. Okay. Drake was at the top of the charts, probably singing about a song about his penis not working because of that school shooting. A whole bunch of incels were online complaining about women in Infinity War and Last Jedi. Okay. So, and in 2018, we had Antonio Brown freaking out at Ben Roethlisberger right before week 17. This was a year that the Steelers did not have a good season. So week 17 was the last game. And Tomlin basically suspended Antonio Brown, said, no, you're not going to play anymore, for this rest of this year. Antonio got pissed and demanded a trade. Now, it's important to remember at this point, Antonio Brown was not the cuckoo bananas lunatic that he has a reputation of being. At this point, he had put together 6 straight 1,000-yard seasons. People, I think, viewed him more as just kind of, he was a diva, but at the same time, he was a diva who wants to win. So he didn't have as much negative, connotation as he does now. In 2019, in March, actually, he went out, demanded a trade, and he got traded to the Raiders. Surprisingly, for only a third-round pick and a fifth-round pick.
Yeah.
And this was the start where somebody from the outside, if you take a look at this, you're like, that seems awfully low. The Steelers seemed like they were just desperate to get rid of this guy. Side note, he almost went to the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if people remember that. Antonio Brown, there was a deal that was in place that was announced by Schefter 3 days prior to him going to the Raiders that the Bills and the Steelers had agreed to. Antonio Brown got on social media and was complaining about this deal, and the Bills pulled out of the deal. And specifically, he said he will never play for a dog shit quarterback like the rookie Josh Allen, because Josh Allen just had his first year before that. That was the wrong call. Antonio, that was the wrong call, although it probably saved the Bills a lot of hassle. During his introductory press conference with the Raiders, Brown said, "I'm here to elevate everything around me. I'm here to just be a surge of energy, of positivity, of good force, a great teammate, and to bring out the best of everyone around me, because we all know it's not all about me." In training camp, Antonio Brown made it all about him. So he started by posting pictures of his feet, which he claimed that the Raiders' cryo therapy machine was broken and the trainers didn't care. So he got severe frostbite on his feet. So already basically throwing his own training staff under the bus. He threw a hissy fit when the NFL said, "Hey man, this helmet that you're wearing might kill you. So how about one that will protect your brain?" And so he had 3 basically lawsuits that he filed in a span of 3 weeks against the NFL, lost every single one of them, and then finally like acquiesced to the Raiders' demands to protect his brain. And he said, like, yeah, fine, I'll go with a helmet that will keep me alive. Later in training camp, Raiders GM Mike Mayock fined Antonio Brown $54,000 after a practice altercation where Brown blew up at his teammates, at his coaches, proceeded to call Mayock a cracker before punting a football at him and screaming, "Fine me for that." He was promptly fined for that. So in the 5 short months that he was with the Raiders, they'd basically grown exhausted with him. So even though he apologized right before training camp, they were pretty much done with Antonio Brown. And more importantly, the Raiders learned about 1 week prior, before that news broke, that he had 3 legal investigations, lawsuits, things pending against him. Now, 2 of them were horrific. It was extremely serious. Allegations of sexual misconduct, allegations of sexual assault from 2 different women. Very, very serious. The third, however, was a lawsuit from a Pittsburgh doctor associated with the Steelers who claimed that Brown behaved inappropriately and caused mental anguish during an exam by gleefully farting in his face. One of those lawsuits is not like the other. So, I also love that some poor law clerk who's had to go to school for like 10 years had to prosecute that one. So anyway, Raiders had enough of Brown. They cut him. And they cut him much like the Steelers were just so anxious to get rid of him. The Raiders ate a lot of that contract, and they didn't care. And that's 100% in retrospect the right move. Like, they threw that grenade out of the van before it exploded, because we all know what happened to Antonio Brown in the future. But that, my friends, is a story for another induction.
Oh my God, the multi-time induction.
Welcome again, Antonio.
Welcome back. The Oakland version of Antonio Brown. Has anybody been so like, he must have been crazy, right? Tomlin must have just covered it up for years.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Right? I mean, I think CTE has to play a role in this, even though he's never like been diagnosed or anything like that. Right. Like, there is a lot going on with this man.
He keeps talking about that online. If you follow him, he's always like, CTE. Everybody says I have CTE. Fuck you. Like, didn't he get knocked out in a playoff game against the Bengals? Wasn't that him?
That whole story about him with the helmet, the more I read about that, he was just like, the Raiders were like screaming at him, like, this is going to protect your brain.
Just wear the other helmet. Yeah. Who cares?
Amazing to me. Like, so they were looking after your safety, you idiot. So,
oh boy. Anyway, welcome to Football Fubar. Time for game balls. Drew, what do you got for a game ball this week?
You know what? He's already gotten a game ball from me this year, but Max Crosby, second career 3-sack game. Raiders win. He's the face of the franchise. Why not?
I like it.
He's also got a football field named after him. That's pretty cool.
Yes, he does. That is pretty cool.
Wow. All right, Mark, you got a game ball?
Directional Michigan team.
We already mentioned him earlier, but that running back who kicked that field goal, he was just I couldn't get over that story. That was so cool. I wish more guys did that. I wish more guys we have like a punter play quarterback. I think that
Tom Tupa.
Yeah,
we need more Tom Tupas in our lives.
Right. Brian Morgan lining up a running back. That'd be fun.
Right. We need more of that.
By the way, Directional Michigan Bowl this week. Central Michigan plays Western Michigan. Throw out the record books. Let's continue.
What's Eastern Michigan doing?
Don't know. Not playing in that game.
My game ball goes to Keenan Allen, who eclipsed 10,000 yards receiving on an incredible one-handed grab on Monday night. So I love that guy. All he does is play hard, and he's like the only Charger you can root for.
He plays really hard and really tough for about 7 games a year.
Yeah, he gets hurt all the time, but 10,000 yards receiving, it's pretty impressive.
But I heard that too. I'm like, and only 17 years of playing. Good job.
Thanks, Eller.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish this up with some plugs. Bloody good music. What do we got this week?
Nothing new for me since Robots of the Ancient World, but we are coming into the period of the year. For those who may not know, the music industry essentially shuts down from Thanksgiving until New Year's. So the new releases are coming a lot slower, which means it is time for me to review everything I've listened to this year in earnest and comprise my end of year top 11 albums list.
Oh, cool.
There are a lot of albums this year that I liked a lot. The only problem, Chris and I were talking about this, the only problem is that I don't have something that's burning at me to be number one right now. And usually by this point of the year I do, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. I like it. I like it. TJF Pod was delayed because Killer Greg is sick. So we were going to record that this week.
Mhm.
So stay tuned on that. Killer Greg's and
He's on the
myself, both of us
Yeah.
under the weather.
Right.
Literally couldn't talk. So kind of hard to record when 2 out of 3
Oh
of
my
us
God.
can't speak.
If you had
So.
had let me lead that show, it would have been gibberish for like 5 hours. So not too unlike what we normally do, but still.
Yeah,
Just
well,
get you
you
a
know.
dry erase board. You'll be fine.
Yeah, right. No problem.
Just hold up Carl Wenslow's face.
Right.
It'll be like all the scenes with Congo.
Yeah, right.
Pretty Amy.
Ugly gorilla, go away. I would
Stop eating my sesame cake.
I would throw the script out within the first 5 minutes and just review nothing but dinosaurs episodes.
What game are we most excited about this week? Other than Bears Panthers.
I was like Bears Panthers. My
Panthers,
God,
baby.
Caleb Williams Bowl.
Except for the Panthers can't get him.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, isn't that the Panthers helping the Bears regardless of the outcome
Yeah.
of that game?
Yes, it is. No matter what happens, the Bears win.
Let me look at the. I'm curious now. I'm kind of. Oof. Oh, Texans Bengals. That should be fun.
Okay. I kind of like that.
I love the Jets and
Detroit
Raiders
and Chargers?
is on in prime time.
Yeah, wow. That's
feel
what
like your
that's
Raiders-
what that photo is.
I mean, that's another good opportunity for a win there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really excited for Spurs Knicks on Wednesday. Spurs got thumped by the Pacers, but
Yeah.
you know,
But
they're not
Wembanyama
the-
was amazing in
He
in
was-
the game before that.
He was great. That dude averages like 4.5 blocks a game.
Oh my God.
Who's not signing up for that?
He's won me a lot of money just by going on the double with him. So,
Totally.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. All right. That's what we're looking forward to in week 10. We're out of here. We'll see you next week. Peace out, everybody.